Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Today is our safari recap for day 5. Actually filming this in the morning of day 6 because day 5 was, like every day, just incredibly busy and over the top. So first things we're going to start off with is the Swahili word for yesterday is actually JANA, J-A-N-A. So JANA's review. So this is our review for yesterday. All right. So first things you need to know about Lewa Conservancy. Yes, we're in Africa. Yes, we're seeing giraffes and rhinos and elephants and zebras, but this is not a desert terrain, as you might suspect. This terrain is a little bit more like Prather, the area between Prather and Shaver Lake, where it's steep, it's rugged, it's dry, and then in some areas it has lots of vegetation, and the terrain keeps changing. So it's not exactly what you might have in your mind as far as what it looks like here. The second thing you need to know is we're at about 5,500 feet, which is shocking. So basically we're looking at animals from, what you would think would be kind of like desert terrain, but we're actually as high as our family cabin. So kind of let that settle in a little bit. That explains why we had a fire and why we were wearing fleece jackets, because it gets cold here. So JANA yesterday started off with 6 a.m. coffee in the room. We then went over for a 7 a.m. horseback ride. The stables were just absolutely gorgeous. 30 retired polo horses with 15 active polo horses in a second stable. The stable looked much like our cottage with the thatched roof. It's just very beautiful. One thing you need to know about me, I love fast cars, fast motorcycles, bikes, but I am not a fan of horses. So once we got there, that kind of set in very quickly that I do not like horses. So JANA got to go on a private horseback ride. So I sat at the lodge and had some coffee and waited for her to get back. So that was just kind of how that worked out. Now, while I was waiting for JANA, our guide Johnson came and got me and said, "Let's go meet JANA. We have a surprise." I said, "Okay, cool." So we jumped in the car. We drove out to where JANA and her guide Emmanuel were on horses. And there's a tree, kind of an open prairie, a tree, and a safari vehicle sitting there. And they had totally surprised us. They had set up a hand washing station. They had dug a pit toilet. They had a table out with eggs, coffee, cream, tea, cereals, muffins, gluten-free muffins, fruits, vegetables, scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage. So totally surprised us with a morning breakfast out on this kind of open plain prairie sitting under a big tree. That was really cool. We didn't expect that. And it was really nice. So we thought, well, this is great. What a way to start the morning. And then they said, "Oh, we have a second surprise for you." And as soon as they said that, a Maasai warrior showed up in full Maasai dress with 2 camels. And that's how we got back to camp. We rode camels back. So that was exciting. We had once we got back, we went to a farm tour. So there's a farm about 10 minutes from here, 10-minute walk, where they grow all, they said I'd been here so long, I'm part of the family, that they grow all the vegetables, fruits, vegetables, they're all organic. And so we got a whole tour of how they do that. They even have a tilapia farm. So a lot of the fish that they raise here. Then they have a carpentry center where they can make wood and furniture and fix the furniture that breaks here. With the drought here in Kenya, they're not allowed to cut down trees, so the carpentry shop is a little slow. They're only allowed to use the wood that the elephants actually knock over, the trees that the elephants knock over, and they do. The elephants trying to get leaves are so strong that sometimes they'll grab a branch and just rip a whole tree down. So it was neat to see all of that and how that all works, and it was like a full cycle. It was kind of like an eco tour, meaning that, from seed all the way through to waste product, they're still using everything. And it was pretty impressive to see. There was quite a fair number of people working the farm when we went there. Each person is responsible for their own section, and they take a lot of pride in what they do. So that was, it was cool. We didn't realize what the food we were eating, which we knew was good, was also organic. So it's been a nice dietary change here. We then took a rest in the afternoon between 1 and 4 o'clock. It was a nice rest, needed rest. And then we went out for a hike. We decided to go for a walking safari. And we went about 2.5 hours from camp. And let me explain the walking safari. We had one guide, Ukutu, who was leading, and then myself, and then Jana, and then we had a second guide behind Jana, Mark, all Maasai warriors in full Maasai dress. The leader had a gun, actually a rifle with huge bullets, and the guy in the back had, you know, his knife and his club and his walking stick, and Jan and I just had walking sticks. But we walked up and through about 2.5 hours. It was a pretty rugged walk, and it was exciting and terrifying. Just being so close to the animals and being able to have to figure out what's that animal thinking, why is it looking at us, which way could it potentially charge, and what do we do if he does charge. So between the buffalo and the elephants and the rhinos, you have to keep kind of moving and keep walking at. I felt we were zigzagging, and I felt we were zigzagging between rocks and trees, so we always had somewhere safe to be. But it worked out, but it was terrifying. On our walk, though, 2.5-hour walk, and we counted 21 rhinos, including some babies and 2 black rhinos, which is rare. Our walk ended up on a ridge. I'm calling it Bourdain Ridge because it's where Anthony Bourdain went and had some drinks. It is just, again, an amazing day. So we finished our drinks, sunset. Stars came out. It was gorgeous. Got back in the car. We were coming back, and we got word of a kill. So we went looking for it about 8:30 last night, and we found that same lion, the male and female lion that we saw the night before, had just taken down a zebra, had just finished their dinner, and we're just lying in the field. So we got to drive up on there and sit. This time we were even closer, and the male lion actually got up and walked around, and we realized exactly how big that male lion was. We then moved the safari truck around to see the other side of the zebra, and he was empty. They ate everything inside of him. Just the circle of life. That's the way it works, but it was an amazing way to end the day. So that was fun. So then we came back to camp. It was about 9:05, and we were just exhausted. So they offered to bring our food to our room. So we got to have a little candlelight dinner here in front of the fireplace, and that was really nice because we were both really tired. So wow, we're almost already 8 minutes in. So let me finish this video by saying 2 things. One, it's actually, as I mentioned, the morning of day 6, so we're going out on a safari drive in a few minutes. But I wanted to tell everyone about the elephants. And this actually happened on day 4, but so much stuff happened on day 4, I forgot about this. I don't know how you forget about this, but have you ever seen an elephant crawl? Okay, so they have these fences. There is an electrical fence around the 100,000 acre perimeter, but there's a secondary fence, interior fence, that keeps the giraffes and the elephants close by. They don't want them to go too far away for safety reasons. So this electrical fence is actually 6 feet to 10 feet tall. So under 6 feet, there's no electrical fence. We can walk and just duck our heads and go straight through. So can the water buffalo. So can all the I call them elk or deer, but there's various different types. But they could all just go right under. The giraffes walk up and sense electricity, and they don't mess with it. But here's the interesting thing. The giraffes, or the elephants, excuse me, they walk up, they know it's electrical, well, someone probably touched it, and they know it stops or it starts at 6 feet high. So the elephants get down on their kind of like knees and bellies, almost in like a yoga downward dog position, and they crawl under the fence. And then when they get under, they pop up and then just keep walking. So we watched some just do it immediately. We watched a couple that were hesitant. They might have been shocked before, but the elephants have figured out that they can crawl under the wiring. And we watched it happen. Jana got some video. It's amazing. The second thing is, when we were hiking, we went up an area that was really steep. Like it was pretty steep, and it was narrow, and it was rocky. And I asked our guide, Rukutu, what animals used that single track that we were on, because it was 100 feet, and it was steep and rocky, and he said the elephants. I couldn't imagine an elephant going up or down that section, but they do. So the elephants are far more agile than you would think. They're not fast, but they're far more agile and far smarter than you ever realized. Whew. So that's our summary. Day 5. JANA.